Hi everyone, this is Mark from Vintage Card Voyage. Just wanted to introduce
Peter, originally from Boston, suburb of Boston, Massachusetts.
thus the Patriots hoodie.
Correct, exactly.
Right. So wanted to have Pete on because we wanted to talk to a collector and kind of talk about their voyage and their journey through the collecting space. So when did you first start collecting?
I first started collecting in the early 80s, growing up in the suburb of Boston. And so big Red Sox fan, big Celtics fan.
Right.
At that time, Patriots weren't as good, but
Right.
but definitely collect a lot of my baseball cards are from the 80s, early, mid to late 80s. So I've got a lot from there. And once after high school, I probably stopped collecting for like 30 years or so plus. Yeah. And so it's only recently started like being interested in it again. And so so I've been looking at it. So I thought it was a good time because I know you guys specialize in vintage cards, which is all I have. So
got it. I believe you'd mentioned too that you were a dealer at some point. Were you going to shows when you were in high school, or?
Yeah, so actually, I've been in business, my whole career, but I have my MBA and everything. But what I joke around, it's like my negotiating skills is actually from back when I was collecting baseball cards.
Right.
No, it really is. I mean, that's you were negotiating with your friends, and I would buy whole collections of my neighborhood kids. And then I would actually go to shows at first as a buyer, but then I also started renting tables and was a dealer at some tables back in high school.
What was that like? I'm curious. Just as like in high school, I assume most of the people around you, and at tables, are like in their 20s, 30s, whatever, 40s. What was that experience like, if you can remember?
I definitely do remember. I remember, and there was at your local hotel, motel, ballrooms at that time. Actually, do they still have those type of shows?
Probably, yeah.
Do you remember the name of any of those shows? Like, do you remember the location or?
I don't. I don't. In fact, I remember even back then. You might remember Ken. It was like the big baseball card shop at that time was called Hall's Nostalgia. Like it was very near Harvard University's Cambridge. It was in Arlington. So they were very early in doing auctions at the time. Live auctions.
Wow.
I think this was like one of the first ones, and so I would go there and I would bid, and I had some interesting things from that. But in terms of the experience, I only did a few of those. But renting tables like $25 or $50 or something like that. I remember in my wood class, that I got an A+ in high school, I built a baseball card display cabinet. And so I would bring that, and I had my prices marked and everything like that, so I don't think I made much money on it, but I was able to buy some from people and make some trades with other dealers and sell a few. So it was good fun.
Do you still have the display cabinet?
I don't. I think my mom sold her house like a long time ago. I think she got rid of it at the time, but I was very proud of it. Yeah.
So were you buying primarily baseball at that point, or like some football as well, or basketball?
Mostly baseball, and I have some basketball. So so one of the things I want you guys to look at is I got that Larry Magic Julius Erving rookie card, so I have got a couple of those. Okay. And so mostly baseball.
Got it. And who was your guy back then, baseball-wise? Boggs, or was it?
Yeah, so I brought a handful of my vintage cards. So I've got Carl Yastrzemski. I've got a lot of Carl Yastrzemski. So I brought the rookie card in. But like Wade Boggs, I have like 20 of his rookie cards, and very very heavy into Red Sox. But I collected
across the spectrum.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
Who would you say is your favorite athlete now?
Now, who's still playing? Well, right now would be like Tom Brady. Now living in the Bay Area, obviously a lot of the Golden State Warriors and that sort of thing. And so, but back in those days, I was hardcore Boston sports fan. I still am, but I was even more so back then.
Yeah. So, what would you say kind of brought you back into the space? Like, was it COVID? Was it just watching videos on YouTube? What have you? Like.
Yeah, no, I think it was definitely COVID, which is, I guess, the facilitator to why this
The boom.
the boom again,
yeah.
and I could totally understand because when there was nothing else to do,
Right.
during that time, I was looking at my old baseball cards again for nostalgia purposes, and but also through COVID, just watching a lot of YouTube, so just seeing all the more recent collectors and dealers with the boom and seeing the prices of the newer, baseball, Pokemon, all those cards. It's kind of gone crazy again,
Right.
And so there's some good YouTube channels around that, and I know you guys you have your niche on the vintage
Right.
card, which is obviously it's more interesting to me
Sure.
because I haven't been able to track all the new variations of all these different collectibles now. That makes it very complicated for
Right.
the old school guys.
Sure. Sure. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think if you have anything else you wanted to ask him.
Not really. I mean, it sounds to me like you're not really going to collect more, but you're interested in evaluating your current collection.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely interested in valuing the current collection. It's more interesting now because also my kids are now in college, so I'm a new empty nester, so I've got some extra free time, and so that's part of the interest, and so it could be something I kind of creep back into type of
Sure.
thing. But I'm definitely just kind of relearning the hobby again,
Right.
and so it is very interesting in looking at the old vintage card.
Yeah.
We were talking a little before we started filming. Around the value, depending on the condition. Obviously,
Sure.
the spread is much wider than I would have guessed.
Right.
But the thing with vintage is there's an emotional connection to
Yeah.
it that you don't get with some of the newer cards.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's why
It's hard to get an emotional connection when there's 55 Joel Embiid rookie cards.
Right.
Correct.
There's not one card. It's not, and the way people procure it is different for everybody. Whereas
Right.
we used to all go, buy retail somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So no, but thanks for kind of taking a look at some of my cards, and I look forward to your feedbacks.
Yeah, happy to do so.
All right. So first card is the Yastrzemski.
Yep, first card's a Yastrzemski rookie card. So this is actually probably one of my favorite cards. The reason is obviously growing up in Boston, I actually, only day I ever skipped school was for Yaz Day, his last home game in Fenway
That's
Park.
awesome.
I went to his last home game, and I still had like a Yaz Day poster from that last game. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah. So just looking at this card, looks like there's some markings.
Yep, there's some staining.
It's not centered. This
Right.
is a hard one to get centered too.
Yeah.
It's pretty clean surface. If we look in the back, you can see it's just
Some paper loss.
wear. Yeah. I mean, the way the back looks, it almost looks like it got trimmed, but I don't.
Yeah.
think,
I mean,
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
The corners are looking pretty good from what I can tell. So that's good. It's just the centering is gonna hurt it, I think.
And here's a comparison. So that got a 60 score. That's an old SGC.
Right.
So I don't know what that equates to. Maybe a
It
5 or
had an
6.
EX. Okay.
Yeah. So that is not as well centered top to bottom, but it doesn't have the markings, right?
Right.
And then the back is cleaner. See how it's cleaner? So if I were to guess, and that's what we're doing here,
Yeah.
is I think that's going to get a 2.
I was going to be in the 3 to 4 neighborhood, but maybe the staining might be more. Yeah, and also the centering I think will hurt it.
I think they deduct quite a bit when they see markings or stains. But yeah, I could get to a 3.
3
but
maybe. 4 is
I'm going to
reaching.
stay with 2.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
Okay.
Okay.
And the next card is you have Steve Carlton.
I do. Ooh, yeah. I already know what this one's going to be. So this one might not even be worth us sending in.
What's the story behind it, or is there a story?
After I got into a while, I started wanting to get a rookie card. So I started specializing and trying to pick up rookie cards.
Right.
And so I forgot how I picked this one up. It was probably through a trade, is my
Right.
guess. But the condition's not very good on this one.
I was going to say, I think his story is the similar one to all of our story, which is that we're big Fritz Ackley fans. And then just very lucky we
That
were
Steve
able
Carlton
to
happened to be on the
Steve
card."
Carlton. I heard that the guy next to
I
Fritz.
mean, look at that unibrow. It's impressive.
We have edge wear. There,
And obviously the crease.
The crease
Yeah.
is heavily like.
The centering is actually not bad,
Not bad,
but that's
not bad.
yeah.
So centering is actually a very.
It's big.
It's very big.
I mean, there's been a recent trend, I think, in vintage collectors where centering is a big deal now. Like they focus more on centering than they do on like edges or whatever.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's at least according to again the YouTube people that I've watched.
Yeah. So this is a PSA 3. It's cleaner.
Yeah,
But it does have this mark over here. So it's not perfect. That you got edge wear.
that crease is going to be the main
Yeah.
one. I think the main issue.
So
I'd go between a 2 and a 1. I think, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Maybe we'll get a 2. Or,
I think that's a 1.5.
Okay.
They're starting to do half grades.
Yeah, that's
a
true.
lot more. So
yeah.
maybe a 2.
So with something like that, let's say if you think it's going to be a 1.5 because of that crease and others, is that even worth sending in?
I mean, you'll obviously look at you check eBay and see what how much a raw sells for, right? And then you see how much a 1 or a 2 sells for, and it's like thinking about, do I want to pay the extra money to but it's also kind of like it's a way to authenticate it. In a way, right? And so that's you're pricing that into the like sending in for grading. It's like, do I want to authenticate this or not?
Yeah.
Hard to say.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
SGC 3, $105.
But
So-
what's like a 1 or 2, right?
Like a PSA 1 is a $94 card. PSA 2, $125. So this is probably about a $100 card.
Yeah.
Raw, I'm trying to think like how much that would go for. I don't even know.
Yeah,
$75, $80 maybe.
Yeah.
Right. So
It's like on the border in
Yeah.
my mind whether or not it's worth it to get graded.
Yeah.
I do it because I'm a collector, so I want it in my collection to just be protected, and then I know what the value is.
right.
I would say, like, if you think you're gonna sell it, like your kids don't want it, it's worth it getting graded because then it becomes liquid. This is hard.
I see.
This is much harder to sell raw.
I see.
The only people I think that would buy that would be like collectors who just like raw. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
No investor is
Okay.
probably gonna buy that.
Right, because they're not going to. Usually, people are buying stuff raw so they can eventually grade it.
Grade it,
And if
and
they
yeah,
think
make
that
the-
it's worth grading, and it's like, is that worth grading for them? Hard to say.
Yep. Okay, that's good feedback.
Do you have Rod Carew?
Yep.
Is that next? Okay.
Okay, so with Rod Carew, I just remember I actually right after college, I lived in Orange County for a few years, and so I remember obviously Carew,
Sure, with the
being the
Angels.
Angels and his unique batting styles.
Yeah.
It was one of the few that I would be able to mimic.
Right.
So this one, like, there is a crease. in
Yeah,
the
there's
top
some
right.
surface stuff going on there on the top.
The corners, same kind of wear. I mean, like, very respectable for vintage cards. This
Right.
is what you would expect in a collection. And his card is an expensive one, but like this version, which is a 60, also is just cleaner all the way around.
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe an unfair comparison, but I would say I'm thinking the same range as the Carl.
3, maybe a 2. Is
Yeah.
that? Oh, you're thinking 1 to 2. That's what
I'm
you're
thinking not a 1. I think a 2 maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe a 3.
Yeah, I was thinking somewhere in the 2 to 3 range.
Would you say, like, for example, there was a small crease in that one corner?
Yeah. Right.
So the crease would automatically take it down to like a 2 maximum type of thing?
I don't know about that. So there's the difference between like a crease and a wrinkle,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
like, so the crease goes all the way through, whereas a
Yeah.
wrinkle is just something on the front. And
Like-
you don't see on the back.
I see. Okay,
So,
interesting.
Like,
That-
I think this is a wrinkle.
That looks
because
like a
there's-
wrinkle.
There's no.
There's no.
You can't tell on
I
that
see.
side.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. Okay.
Yeah. So that changes things, I think, a little bit. Like
Yeah.
if it's just a wrinkle, then maybe it's a little easier to get a better grade. But it's also on the front. If it was a wrinkle on the back, it'd be better
Yeah.
because they focus more on the front than they do
Okay.
on the back
Yeah.
for grading.
Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe 2 on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this would be worth sending in for sure.
I think so.
Yeah.
This to me is a grossly undervalued card.
So this is relatively well centered, for one thing. I don't know if that's a crease. No, there's nothing there. This one.
There-
Yeah,
oh.
there's a
Little-
crease or
yep.
wrinkle maybe on the bottom.
There's a little like wear here in the picture you can see, and I thought there was a mark, but then here's
Oh, wow,
my
that-
version.
that's
It has
really
the
nice.
exact same.
I see like a surface, like
Yeah.
some dimpling going on the surface.
I mean, I try to get color. I like color.
Yeah, I noticed yours
So-
is more vibrant.
So
Yeah.
like, that's a nice blue background
Yep.
there, and that's a 5. So I think that would get a 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's right in the 3 area.
Yeah.
I think.
What's like the value of like a 3 versus a
Yeah,
5?
there's some staining too on the back a little bit.
So PSA, so there's not a lot of sales, but PSA 5 is $100. PSA 6, yeah, it's undervalued.
Wow.
PSA 6 is $250.
Yeah.
So there's,
Wow, that's like way lower than I would have expected.
Yeah.
Way lower. I mean, and your 5 is actually a really good. It looks really good. Nice.
yeah,
I mean,
and I think like if I remember correctly, like I probably bought that raw for around $120, and then so
so
the
this-
Nolan Ryan.
yeah. So actually, I mean, this is one of my favorite cards. So just obviously.
Okay,
Ryan.
we'll be gentle and
just
yeah. So I can see right away there's like discoloration on the surface.
I was wondering if it's hard to say if it's like that's from the
I
card,
think,
the plastic.
I think that's
or-
from the plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The centering is good.
Yeah.
The centering is good.
There's a little like thing right there on the purple.
Oh, wow.
Above, above the mess, there's like a little
Color's pretty
whitish.
good too. It's, like this version, which is a PSA 2, is a good comp. It's like,
Yeah.
but this is not as well centered.
No.
Let's look at the back. Both are not centered well. in the
Right.
back.
Yeah. But you get a little more leeway on the back as
Yeah,
far as centering
yeah,
goes.
yeah.
So.
2.5. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe,
close,
maybe
yeah.
a 3 if the guy's having a good day.
Yeah, exactly.
So if we think this is going to be, if we submit to SGC and let's say it gets a 2, it has value. That's a $460 card. A 3, $500.
Right.
So I think you're in that range.
Yeah.
So that's definitely worth grading.
Yeah.
So I've got my next one's a Ron Say rookie.
Not John Hilton?
John Hilton
Not
rookie.
John Hilton? It technically isn't the Ron Say, I think. Ron Say is 72, I believe.
Is that right?
Oh, really?
I could be wrong about that. I believe.
He might have.
Really?
Is he on a triple panel in
I
72?
think maybe. I could be wrong, but I feel like that's right.
Okay, so centering's good for this card.
Yeah, definitely rounding.
Oh wow,
corners.
yours is really pretty.
This is a corner where again,
Yeah,
it's like
rounding. But that's what happens.
it's very clear that it comes from the same collection. It's all in that same range, right? Let's see the back.
Yeah, little paper, not paper loss, but like
Yeah.
a chipping or something, whatever you want to call it.
So actually, his back is centered better than this one, but this 5.5, which is not an easy grade.
Yours
It's
was
just
really
very
nice.
clean. It's a very clean surface. It has edge wear.
Is yours?
Better corners.
This one looks a little. Mine has a little bit of fading compared to like the.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, I think
I mean,
so too.
yours is just really white.
Maybe it was in the sun at some point for a period of time. Maybe
Yeah,
not.
I
Who
mean,
knows?
I bought this.
Wow.
I didn't get this as a kid. This was one of the targets as an adult for me. So I might have even bought it graded. I can't remember now. So I think that's probably a 2, 2.5, maybe a 3.
Yeah, I would say
There's no creases.
possible
so
3.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe 4.
I don't know.
When you look at
That's
it
hard.
against the 5.5, then it's harder to see.
Yeah, because these, I
Yeah.
mean, like, this is the
It's
corners
so
are really nice. with
nice,
these.
yeah.
And this is, you can tell the rounding is already happening, so that's harder, I think, to get a 4. But maybe.
Yeah. Okay. I think you have my favorite basketball card, the Bird Magic.
So I've told Ken I have I have them all perforated. So,
No, that you did yourself.
exactly.
Oh
I didn't
my
know.
God,
I
okay.
was a kid.
Me
I didn't know
too.
any better. So
Me too.
I don't have these though. I have
right there.
bird, and I have the different ones. I think I have different.
My version as a kid is also perforated, and I actually have it like not reattached, but in a holder, so
Sure.
you can see that
Next
it's
to each
actually
other.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a 2.
Wait, why is yours only a 2?
So the reason it's a
Centering?
2, and I bought this like at a card show, is because the perforations are about to come off.
Oh,
You can actually see there's a little bit of like almost like a gap or something.
Okay.
It's also not centered
Yep.
very well.
Yep.
That's another part of it.
But I liked it. It was like a clean front, and I got a reasonable price for it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. The centering on this one, there's the wider. The white over here is bigger than that side. So that's top
Yep.
to bottom, whatever. Yeah, there's definitely. Is that the one you did?
I think
You said?
I did that.
Okay.
Ugh. I still remember when that happened too. I was like, ugh.
We all love to beat
Yeah.
ourselves
We-
up
we
about
all
things like
have.
that.
So centering is not bad.
No.
There obviously there's a ding in that corner.
Right.
The perforation thing, which I think they look on in this car, is very good.
It's good. Yeah.
It's very good. And I don't know. Did we look at the back? Nothing on the back. It's hard to say. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
this is a tough one.
I think this card if it didn't.
It feels
My
like 3 to 4.
card would have been like a 5 if it didn't have this weird perforation. So I'm thinking you get a 2 or 3 somewhere in there.
So
range.
this thing probably would have, without that, probably would have been a 5, 6.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
You guys are just trying to make me
There-
feel better.
The vintage cards are graded harder too.
Oh, they are interesting.
Yeah.
I would almost think the opposite, just because it's harder to get the better grades.
Right.
Right.
So that's still a few hundred, right? In that.
Yeah, I'm having trouble like pulling it up on the app, but that's still going to be worth grading.
Oh yeah. I mean.
Then you have a bird rookie we could look at.
Yep.
Okay. This is nice, and there's a little rounding of corner there, I think.
Here's my version.
That perforation is interesting. There's like a little gapping, or not gapping, but like it stops. The perforation stops for some reason. I've never seen. Same
actually
thing.
seen-
Yeah,
interesting.
same thing.
That's
I've never seen that
interesting.
before. Yeah, this one looks pretty nice. I mean, centering is top to bottom. This way. It's a little like thin there and gapper there, but still within the realm.
I've gotten a bunch of these graded, and you can get them with you can see the corners are nice.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking I could get an 8 on this, but because of the centering, I think I got a 7. So to me, that's probably a 5. Maybe
I was
a
gonna say
4.
5. Yeah. Oh, really? 4. Okay. I was gonna say maybe up to a 6, but I guess
This card is in my mind like one of the undervalued cards.
Because it's
if
still a bird rookie.
Still technically a bird rookie.
right.
And there are 5 or 6 versions of his rookie card.
Oh, I didn't. Okay.
I've collected them all because I love Bird Imagine.
Huh.
And they're affordable. Like if you can find it raw, you can find this out in the wild, $20, $30, $40.
Oh, really?
You have anything else?
Yeah,
you
I
want?
brought a few extras. So just given his recent passing, Pete Rose. What do you guys think is going to happen? Is happening to his cars now that he's passed away?
I feel like it's always where like it bumps up right after the person passes, and then it kind of like pretty quickly drops down. It takes like maybe a week or two, and it drops back down to where it was, or maybe a little higher than what it was, but not like a lot more. I could be wrong. I don't know if you have thoughts, Ken, but
Yeah, unfortunately, I think when somebody passes, we all think that it's gonna like really appreciate the card value, and it hasn't. Except when I think people think it's tragic, like with Kobe for sure.
Yeah.
His cars jumped up, and I think have kind of
With who?
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant. Yes. Yes.
because of
The way
why
he-
it happened, or when
maybe
it happened,
before
his life.
people are ready for it to happen.
Right.
But for Pete Rose, I'm pretty sure it hasn't really like.
Yeah, probably not. What do you think? I'm speculating that now he's passed away. maybe Major
Hall
League
of Fame.
Baseball, there's at least a little bit higher chance they might overlook it.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm wondering that myself. Like, and that would affect values potentially, but also I think it's kind of like baked in a way that people assume he's going to eventually get
some
there.
point,
Hard to say.
Yeah, I don't think it'll happen anytime soon. And that to me, it feels like mean to like put him in the hall right
after he passes away.
Yeah.
when he really wanted to be in the Hall of Fame.
MLB is spiteful that way.
Yeah. So this has quite a bit of wear to it. I don't know if it's the holder though, and it's not centered.
And the centering,
So the
yes.
centering, yes.
So
Let me see the back.
I'm looking on eBay, and like a couple sold probably similar type cards for $15.
Back's pretty nice.
That's it? Wow.
There is some scratching, but I'm assuming that's the case.
Yeah, because this is what his fifth card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
His rookie was
63.
63.
His rookie is valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like his fifth card.
Wow, that's that low.
I mean, maybe $25.
Oh,
There's
wow.
another one.
Yeah.
That's
It's
what's
again,
so wild to me.
It's just vintage has to have like really high, grading
Grades.
to justify the pricing,
Wow.
like high pricing, or whatever. Unless they're like unless it's a Mantle, a Maze,
Yeah.
an Aaron, like those top tier guys.
I mean, in theory, he is a top tier guy.
you would think, yes, I know, but he's not.
Yeah,
he's not viewed that way.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is like, I think it's a really pretty card. Like,
Yeah.
there's the framework, the red with the Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a really nice card.
Yeah.
I mean, all the vintage cards in the 60s, I kind of like the designs and
Right.
the way they look. Pete, because you're thinking of selling, right? So you're disappointed.
No, I
But
should.
from the flip side,
Yeah.
like, I love that. I love that you can get this, like,
Right, for buying, yeah.
Pete Rose has 68.
Yeah.
Yeah, 68 Rose, and it's like the year I was born. And I think, you go to a card show, if somebody was selling it for $15, I might pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I brought, I couldn't find it, but I, two rookies, but I also have the mini versions of the rookie too.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, we did a profile on the mini set. I
we
bought
did.
a mini set.
Oh, you have a whole set of 75?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
From a dealer.
So I think some of this is the case. But
Wow, the Brett looks pretty good,
Yeah.
centering wise.
There's some edge wear a little bit here.
Yeah, and the Yount, pretty good.
Got is that a ding or something?
Pete, when you were a kid, did you look at the condition? Was that something that you looked at carefully?
it's that's a really good question.
Yeah.
What
And the Ricky on the back.
Wow.
Oh no, Ricky on the back. I'd rather have the Yount.
Well, what was interesting was condition still was a factor, right? Because looking at the Beckett guidebook, but obviously there was a premium for the mint, or what they call mint
Right.
excellent at that time.
Right.
Not quite nearly as the variability is now.
Right.
So I think when it comes to these cards, and these were more expensive cards back when you're in high school.
Sure.
Right. So I think it's like I found the value in the VG kind of range. So I think a lot of my cards are very similar, like the 2-3 condition that
Sure.
you guys are kind of predicting. So
Well, let's see if Pete has a guess on what do you think a George Brett rookie card goes for?
I mean, it depends on the condition, right? So
And if I sent that in for grading,
Oh, what do you
I would guess. I think you might get a 4.
I was gonna say 4 to 5, somewhere in that
I
neighborhood.
think George, I don't. $100.
Yeah. So I'm just looking at sold.
I
feel like
These
it's
are
like
just
70 to 80.
so raw 50, 35, 40, 58, 100, 80.
It all depends obviously on how
Yeah.
centered it is.
And I'm
people think
I'm
they can
trying
put
to get as close to his.
yeah.
That's kind of a similar. That's 80. That's probably what that would go for raw. Oh, we didn't say the Yount. I'm gonna say a 4.5 on the Brett. The Yount looks pretty clean too. I'd say about the same.
Yeah, it's this. It's gonna.
Oh, is there a crease?
I think. I don't know if it's
It
a
might
wrinkle,
be the-
maybe, or
The corner.
Oh, there is a little bit.
I don't know. Yount 4, I think.
let's see the Henderson.
Rough cut, right?
Yeah.
So rough cut is when
The actual
you just,
printer.
Yeah,
right?
the printer cut it, and it's probably the blade wasn't really sharp,
Exactly.
so you get a little bit of like this, like
Yeah.
rough edge.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Exactly.
And I forget, there's a content creator who talks about, he's like, I love rough cut.
I love rough
He
cut.
loves a rough cut. cut
And this is the
cards.
stain on the plastic. So there's a little
Yeah.
stain here on the side, left side. Can't see the back, but yeah, I mean, this is, I don't know what the rough cut would do, honestly, do it grade wise. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
5?
I think they do mark it down. This is a pretty nice card. It's centered off centered a little bit on both top, bottom, left, right. Maybe like 70-30 centering. And because of the rough cut, if I think I looked under the loop, you can see the corners are got wear. It has a one of one back though. It has Robin Yellow. That is rare.
Yes. Very rare.
Yeah.
Feels like a 5 to me.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's where I was.
Cool.
Maybe a 4 if they don't like the rough
Right.
cut. Yeah.
Or the Robin, yeah.
Yeah, so unfortunately, none of the vintage cards you have are like 9s or 10s.
But not to be expected.
No.
Right,
necessarily.
right,
Yeah,
right.
so,